Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is Monday. If you are inside of Patreon, a huge shout out to Patreon for financially supporting the podcast. If you're outside of Patreon, it is Wednesday and it is an email episode. So now I want to get to our first email. This one is probably going to take me a minute, and it's regarding FMLA. Because I did an FMLA video a while back, I have gotten a lot of questions surrounding it. And let's start with paperwork, because this particular email is saying, "Good morning, Brandy. Good morning, baby." You know, my heart goes out to you in this particular situation. It says, "I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I am having difficulty finding a new job. I am a single parent with no help with my child. My mother is ill and my job is aware that I need time off. They sent me the wrong FMLA paperwork, so I have yet to apply and I'm waiting on the correct paperwork to be sent. They sent me another case yesterday after telling my supervisor I am drowning and I cannot take another case right now. I was told, I know you got a lot going on, do what you can." That is a setup, but let's continue. "I don't feel supported right now. I feel like they're just giving me work because they can't find anybody else to do it. The feeling is correct, dear heart. People are resigning my unit or resigning from my unit, leaving no additional coworkers to cover the load. I can't just get up and quit. I'm having mental breakdowns every day. I go home very stressed, crying, and I dread getting up and going to work every day. I need your advice." Number one, the reason why you have not gotten that paperwork, honey, is because of the very thing that you stated inside of this email. They have employees quitting. People are resigning left and right. So they don't have anybody else to do this work. They're bringing you cases. You're the only person there who's actually able to do it because people are quitting left and right. And so your feeling of not being supported is accurate, because you're not being supported. And you're saying that they gave you the wrong forms, which is causing even more delay, which only benefits your company or your organization. I want to tell you that you can go on to Department of Labor's website to get FMLA paperwork. Now, I know that every company may have their own process. Every company or every state may have their own process, but you can start somewhere. Okay? Those forms, those are the standard, and every state has like their own type of form, but it's very similar to that. And you can take that form to them and have them complete it, because they're giving you the runaround, and you see what it's doing to yourself every single day. You're drowning in work, and I will say, do not communicate that to your manager. Okay, even if you are having a hard time completing tasks, If you do not have a manager that you can be transparent with, and you know this from previous experiences, this is definitely not the time to tell them that you are struggling completing work and being vulnerable with this person. You already told them that you have a lot going on, and it still does not matter to them either way. Okay? You cannot quit your job because you are the sole provider for your child unless you have a backup plan. And right now, you said that it's hard for you to find another job and you're really struggling. So if you don't want to take a job at Aldi or somewhere else, you need to stay at this job until you can find the job that you need to be able to support your child. Okay? I'm going to link the FMLA documents inside this email when I reply back to you. But please just stay encouraged. Pray. You are a psychologist, but honey, or you have a degree in psychology, I need you to seek one. Okay? You need to talk to a therapist. That is going to expedite your paperwork, and your healthcare provider also has that paperwork. So you don't necessarily have to wait on your job. Your doctor can give you that same paperwork. They have it inside of the offices. They have it if they use a company, because there are some companies who outsource that. They can complete those forms for you as long as you have a qualifying reason, which you do. Taking care of a family member or even with your own situation. If you don't want to list this situation going on with your family, your situation right here, you are stressed, crying, you dread going to work every single day, you're overwhelmed, you're like really struggling mentally, that is a good enough reason as well. And so please stay lifted up and make sure that you seek help, okay, through your therapist, and also utilize the forms that I'm going to email you right now. And on to our next email. The next one is coming from a lovely listener. It says, I love your advice. I've become so burnt out at my job that if I could leave, I would. I listened to your podcast about toxic work environments, and it helped me to realize that this is what it has become. I used to really enjoy going to work. It's not the work, it's management, making stupid decisions without thinking about those of us who actually do the job. Now they took our work and gave it to another department, which is already behind, and they are a higher pay grade. We are now expected to train them without any training pay and still do some of the work that they are supposed to be doing. I'm in a union and I filed a grievance without any resolution. Of course not. And I'm about to tell you why. It's only 3 of us, with one being a contractor. I'm mostly the one that everyone comes to for help. They expect me to stop doing my work to help them. I'm beyond exhausted, and it has begun to affect my health. Oh, hell fucking no. I can't just quit because I'm currently the only one working because of my husband's illness. I have 9 kids, 8 of which still live at home. I really make great money, but I'm beginning to think that it's not worth it anymore. I've been looking for other positions within the company, but they just recently did a major layoff. So that makes me a little leery to get out of the union. I know that it will be difficult to find a job that will pay me what I make right off the bat. Thank you so much for all your advice. Betty, you need to start looking for another job, because if they have taken your responsibility and moved it to a different department, that is not a good sign. Okay? They are having y'all train those people. It's only 3 of you in the department, so they are dividing work. Okay? So what just happened to those previous people is about to come your way. So I know that you are leery about being able to find a job that's going to pay you as much as you're making currently, but that may be a position that you're going to be in anyway, okay? Because if they have already downsized and now they are taking some of the work that you are doing, or majority of the work that you are doing, and giving it to a different department, you're still having to help those people, and you're training your replacement, baby. That's exactly what you are doing. And if I were you, I would get a little more serious about finding another job. While there may be a pay gap, okay, you are going to have to make some serious adjustments so that you are not caught off guard, because it's going to happen anyway, is what is my point. You can't really avoid this shit. When it happens like this and they want to downsize, they want to lower the cost that the company is putting out for employees with health insurance and all of that, you can't really avoid that. They've already done a major layoff and laid off a lot of exempt employees. So I can't help but think that it's on its way to you. So please know that it is time for you to get serious about looking for another opportunity. Do not waste time, because you don't have that much. All right, into our next email. This one says, "Hey girl, hey baby, how you doing?" Well, I am so angry I could cry. Oh my goodness. I feel like I know the answer to this, but it's the solution that's the problem. I know it's time for me to leave, but the industry that I am in does not pay as much as I am currently making, and I'm starting to think that it's worth the pay cut. I have bosses that yell at me, then think buying me a drink after work makes things better. Also, there is no HR. It's just myself and the two owners. I came from working in fashion to healthcare. Thanks to COVID, all management positions. I want to stay in healthcare, but they just aren't paying enough, and I know I need to leave. Help me before I catch a case. Honey. If you feel like If you feel like you are about to catch a case, that is a sign. You can no longer stay there, and you have to make some necessary adjustments. Also, peace is not for sale. You understand? Peace is not for sale. You should not allow anyone to mistreat you, be rude to you, belittle you, disrespect you. You have to have some respect for yourself. And if you don't have it for yourself and allow them to do that, they're going to continue. So either you need to put your foot down and tell them motherfuckers, hey, I appreciate the information, but the delivery has to shift. In order for us to have an environment or a peaceful environment, the delivery has to change. Okay? I can't be getting yelled at and then expected to do these things. So the way that the communication is happening, that needs to shift. But this is not a healthy work environment, darling. Okay? It is not. And your piece, you're going to have to figure out what the price of yours is. Is it this salary, or maybe do you feel like you can make some changes in your pay or changes in your lifestyle to accommodate a lower pay style or pay rate so that you can have peace in your life? So that is a decision that you really need to make. Go through your bills. You don't have to make the decision tomorrow. Go through your bills, look through your accounts, see what you can cut. What are some things that you can do to make your life a little easier as you are job hunting? And be realistic while you are job hunting. Do not self-sabotage yourself, because we know that these other companies may not be able to do this as far as a salary, but we don't want to make that a real problem as we are job hunting. Okay? You know that. So be real.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Realistic when you go out for these job hunts or these job interviews, that you're not sabotaging yourself or trying to make things seem like they're going to work when you know that this shit is not going to work long term. If you are so angry that you are going to cry, you are going to end up on the news. You understand? That is a great way to end up on CNN, Fox, whatever. Okay? Employee does ... All right? You need to be mindful of that. If you are so angry that what is happening in the workplace is going to shift your life, you need to go see a therapist, number one, because you're just going to carry this trauma to the next place. Okay? PTSD is real when you work in a negative, nasty work environment. It travels with you. It does not just go away because now you're in a new environment. Any interaction that you have after this, you are going to be traumatized and you're going to respond just like you would have responded if you were there. So in addition to leaving, you also need to seek therapy. That is the only way that you are really going to overcome this hurdle. And I really wish you the best. It is never an easy decision when you have to figure out what you're going to do for yourself and for your family as far as a job. That is never an easy decision to make. I don't take it lightly, but I also know that peace of mind is a little bit better. And who knows, girl, you may go out here and start applying to some of the positions with the experience that you have, and you may be able to get the pay that you desire, or at least a little closer. But if we just say, well, I know that it's not going to happen for me, then it's not. You're never going to find it because you're not actually going to go out and look for it either. And they're banking on that. They're hoping to God that they pay you so much money that you don't even want to go out and look, that there is no opportunity for you. So please keep that in mind when you are making a decision on whether you should leave a toxic work environment or when you're going to do it, because we should never stay in a toxic work environment. Once we realize that, we need to start making some moves. You understand? All right, let's go to our last email of the day. This one says, hey, Brandy, my 40-year-old son has been told that he has a large mass on his lung and scheduled for a biopsy on 4/1. Oh, my God. God bless. God bless him. I just pray for healing. Then based on the results, we will either need part of a lung removed if negative for cancer, or they may have to begin treatments for cancer. Therefore, I need to be taking sick leave more than normal. I don't have a lot. Although having been on this job for 25 years, due to my illness, children throughout the years, my mom's bout with breast cancer 2 years ago, I know you also say keep them the fuck out of your business. In this case, though, I don't know. Okay. Ma'am, first of all, I just want to say I pray to God that all is well. It is after 4/1, so I hope that everything is okay with your son, and just praying for healing no matter what has to take place. But I will say that you should definitely apply for FMLA. You're probably, if you don't have a lot of sick time and you do not live in a state where your company is required to do it, because there are some states that require that, and the company has to meet certain qualifications, you will be going without pay, because short-term disability does not cover the care of an adult child, if I'm not mistaken. Now, those of you who may know something different, y'all tell me. But short-term disability, once you run out of your sick time, that is what kicks in. And so if you run out of sick time and you want to use your short-term disability for this, they may not cover that. And the reason why is because you are not disabled, right? You are still able to go to work. And although you are caring for a child, he is not a minor. And so that's where you're going to have to contact your short-term disability insurance provider, number one. And then I would fill out that FMLA paperwork so that you can take care of him. And that at least covers you, and that's some type of job, protection. But as far as like keeping them the fuck out of your business, you cannot say anything. You just turn in your paperwork to your HR department and let your HR department communicate with the managers or your direct supervisor, and they will find a replacement or somebody that can cover. They'll make sure that they have somebody there doing that. But just circling back, I really hope that everything works out. I know that is a really hard thing to hear, in addition to the other hard things that you have had to deal with over the last few weeks. So I'm sure that everyone that is listening is going to be saying a special, special prayer for you and your son. And y'all are just in our prayers. So God bless you. And I hope everything works out. Please make sure that you at least ask your short-term disability supplier if that is the case. If that is not the case, then you would more than likely be going without pay for an extended amount of time. Okay. That is going to be all for today's podcast episode. I want to say thank you to Patreon for supporting the podcast financially. Also, thank you to everyone who is listening. I want to remind you that the podcast was nominated for an award, and I'm going to link it so that we can get up the charts and secure our nomination. So I'm going to secure that. And to all of the listeners who wrote in today, God bless you. And I really hope your situations improve. If you do have a question that you would like to email the podcast, you would send it over to managementpod@gmail.com. Also, don't forget that we will be going live inside of Patreon on this Saturday, which is April 12th, and the rest of the live schedule has already been sent out inside of Patreon. We have a couple more dates for Patreon Live. So let me know if you all have any questions. I love you all, and I'll see y'all asses on the internet. Bye.